Imagine being a convict stranded in the wilds of a distant land with no help in sight, no way to communicate, and no tools to survive. This is the true story of Alexander Pierce, a man who survived multiple escapes from one of the most notorious penal colonies in the world. But his story takes a very dark turn, showing the lengths one man would go in order to survive. In 1822, Alexander Pierce, an Irish convict, was transported to the penal colony of Van Diemen's Land in modern-day Tasmania, where he was put to work in the harsh conditions of the wilderness. Along with several fellow convicts, Pierce escaped the prison camp, only to find himself deep in dangerous and uncharted wilderness. Pierce and his companions had no food, no shelter, and no survival training. They were in a foreign land surrounded by dense forests with little understanding of the unforgiving terrain. The escapees, desperate to survive, soon realized that the brutal environment was just as dangerous as the prison they had escaped. The group of convicts attempted to flee into the wilderness, but the going was tough. After several days without food, they became weak and began to lose hope. The wilderness was filled with dangers, wild animals, treacherous terrain, and constant rainfall. Yet, despite their desperate situation, Pierce and the others pressed on, trying to survive by any means necessary. As the days passed, the convicts became increasingly desperate. Their supplies dwindled and hunger took a toll. Pierce, driven by sheer survival instinct, committed the unimaginable. He killed and ate his fellow convicts in order to stay alive. Pierce survived for a while on this grim diet, but his companions eventually succumbed to the harsh conditions one by one. After several weeks, Pierce was the sole survivor. He finally stumbled into a settlement where he was taken back into custody. When he was captured, Pierce was questioned about the deaths of his companions. Initially, he told authorities that the other convicts had perished from the harsh conditions, but later he admitted to the gruesome truth. Pierce's story became infamous, and he was soon tried for his actions. His horrific tale of survival raised questions about the lengths to which a person would go to stay alive. In 1824, Pierce attempted another escape, this time with a new group of convicts. He was recaptured, but his second escape attempt failed. Afterwards, his story became a grim legend, and he was forever remembered not just for his survival, but for the extreme and shocking actions he took to stay alive. The story of Alexander Pierce is one of the darkest survival tales in history. It's a tragic example of how the will to live can push a person to unimaginable extremes.